Welcome back to Old Guy REI. Don't buy rental properties. There, I said it. That's not something you'd hear on most real estate channels, right? But don't buy rental properties, at least not yet. Because if you buy one before you understand a few things that nobody shared with me before we got our first, it can cost you a lot of money and a lot of stress. And I know that because our first rental property looked like a great deal. It was supposed to be a triplex, but once we owned it, we discovered a lot of problems it had that completely changed the numbers for us. So if you're thinking about buying your first rental property, here are 5 things that I wish someone had shared with us before we bought our first. 1, don't buy until you understand the real numbers. A lot of times the numbers you see online are best case scenarios. Sometimes they're even a little inflated. They assume perfect tenants, minimal repairs, and everything working exactly the way it should. But we know real life rarely works like that because roofs wear out, plumbing breaks, tenants move out, and appliances fail. If the deal only works when everything goes perfectly, it probably wasn't a good deal to begin with. You need to run the numbers, and you need to assume that things will go wrong because they will. Number 2, don't buy until you understand the building itself. That one hit us directly because, like I've shared many times, our first property was supposed to be a triplex, but it wasn't really built as a true triplex. There was only one furnace serving all 3 of the units, and the thermostat was controlled by one tenant. You can probably imagine how that went. The plumbing system in the building was really old, and it's needed more repairs than I can count. And the layout, since it was built after the fact, made management a lot harder than it needed to be. But on paper it looked great. The building itself had problems we didn't understand when we bought it. And 3, don't buy until you have real cash reserves. That's something a lot of new investors underestimate all the time, because things will break. Not maybe, they really will. Water heaters fail, sewer lines collapse, roofs leak, and appliances stop working. If you don't have enough money set aside for those moments, every repair can become a financial emergency. Cash reserves turn a crisis into a repair, and without the reserves, rental properties can become very stressful and really quickly. 4, don't buy until you understand the systems. This kind of stuff sounds boring when you're excited about buying a property, but these details matter a lot because things like who controls the heat, how is the plumbing set up, is the electrical shared between units, and are all the utilities separated, or are they combined? Those are the kind of things that can really eat into your profits year after year if they're not set up correctly. And 5, don't buy until you're emotionally ready either. The responsibility of rental property ownership isn't passive, no matter what you hear online. You're responsible for housing people, or we're responsible for housing people. So when something breaks, it matters. Tenants call at inconvenient times. Repairs don't happen on our schedule. You have to be willing to solve problems and deal with issues when they arise. And some people aren't really prepared for that. Others discover very quickly that it's not as easy as it looks on YouTube. Rental properties can be absolutely great, a great investment, but they're not as simple as some people make them out to be. If you're thinking about buying your first one or your next one, slow down a bit, learn the building, understand the numbers, build your reserves, because the goal isn't just to buy a rental property, at least the way I think about it. The goal is to buy the right one. And I've been trying to help new investors understand all of these things. Sometimes when I hear or listen to myself, it sounds like I'm trying to talk people out of investing in real estate, but that's not the case. I just want people to be informed and hopefully help them avoid a lot of the mistakes and the lessons that we've learned in our first few years. We're on year 6 now. We still have rental properties. We're counting on them to help us in retirement. And because of that, I started what I called a rental reality checklist. And it's a free download. I'll link it in the description, but it's in my Stan store. That's stan.store. And it's free. So it has some thoughts in there that might help you think through whether you're ready to buy a rental or not. So maybe if you don't mind, you can give it a quick download, look it over, let me know what you think. I really appreciate any feedback because I'm trying to make it as valuable as possible, and help people understand what it could really take, what it does really take to be a landlord these days. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe and hit that like button, and I'll keep bringing this kind of info and posting it as often as I can. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in the comments.